History is often written by the victors, painted in strokes of glory and heroism. But beneath the surface of the American dream lies a darker architecture, a foundation built on secrets that were never meant to see the light of day. In the mid-20th century, the United States embarked on two of the most secretive and ethically haunting projects in human history. One sought to harness the power of the stars to create the ultimate weapon of destruction. The other sought to map the most private territory of all, the human mind. From the silent laboratories of Los Alamos to the cold, windowless rooms of CIA safe houses, the line between national security and pure nightmare began to blur. Today, we peel back the curtain on the Manhattan Project and the terrifying reality of MKUltra. This is the history they didn't want you to remember. Part 2. The Manhattan Project, The Birth of Death, 1942. The world was at war, and the United States was in a desperate race against a ghost. The fear was simple. If Hitler developed an atomic bomb first, the world as we knew it would end. This fear gave birth to the Manhattan Project, a scientific endeavor so secret that not even the vice president knew of its existence. Imagine entire cities appearing on the map overnight. Oak Ridge, Tennessee, Los Alamos, New Mexico, Hanford, Washington. Places that didn't exist to the public, surrounded by barbed wire and patrolled by men with orders to shoot. Thousands of workers moved into these secret cities, performing repetitive tasks without ever knowing what they were building. They were cogs in a machine designed for annihilation. But the darkness wasn't just in the weapon itself. It was in the atmosphere of total paranoia. Scientists lived under aliases. Every letter was censored. Families were torn apart by the weight of what they couldn't say. Then came July 16th, 1945. The Trinity Test. In the silence of the New Mexico desert, a flash of light brighter than 1,000 suns scorched the earth. For a brief moment, the sand turned to glass. Robert Oppenheimer, the project's director, watched the mushroom cloud rise and recalled words from the Bhagavad Gita. "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." He wasn't just speaking metaphorically. The world had entered the atomic age, a period where humanity finally gained the power to erase itself from history. But while the fires of Hiroshima and Nagasaki ended one war, they ignited a new kind of darkness, one that would lead the government to look inward at its own people. Part 3. MKUltra, The Architecture of Control. As the mushroom clouds of the 1940s settled into the Cold War of the 1950s, a new paranoia took root. The battlefield had shifted. It was no longer just about who had the biggest bomb. It was about who could control the thoughts of the enemy. The CIA became obsessed with a terrifying concept: brainwashing. In 1953, Director Alan Dulles approved Project MKUltra. Its mission was simple and chilling: to develop chemical, biological, and radiological materials capable of shattering the human psyche and rebuilding it from scratch. But they didn't test these methods on enemy soldiers. They tested them on the unsuspecting. Under the direction of Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, a man often called the Black Sorcerer, the CIA turned American and Canadian soil into a laboratory of horrors. Operation Midnight Climax was perhaps the most depraved chapter. The CIA set up safe houses in San Francisco and New York, lure unsuspecting men into these rooms, and secretly dose them with massive amounts of LSD. Behind one-way mirrors, CIA agents sat with martinis, watching as these citizens' realities dissolved into drug-induced nightmares. They weren't looking for enlightenment. They were looking for the breaking point. The experiments didn't stop at drugs. In psychiatric hospitals, patients who came in seeking help for simple anxiety were subjected to depatterning. They were put into drug-induced comas for weeks, given electroconvulsive therapy at levels 30 to 40 times the normal dose, and forced to listen to looped tapes of repetitive commands for 16 hours a day. Their memories were erased. Their identities were wiped clean. They were reduced to shells of human beings, all in the name of national security. For 20 years, this clandestine war on the mind continued in the shadows. It wasn't until 1973, fearing public exposure, that the CIA ordered the destruction of all MKUltra files. They tried to burn the evidence of their crimes, but they couldn't burn the shattered lives of the survivors. Only a handful of documents survived a clerical error, revealing a glimpse into a program that treated the human soul as a mere data point. Part 4. The Legacy of the Void. Conclusion. The Manhattan Project gave us the power to destroy the world. MKUltra showed us the lengths to which men will go to control those who are left within it. Both projects were born from the same soil, the belief that the end always justifies the means, and that the individual is expendable in the face of the state. We often ask ourselves if these programs ever truly ended. When the files were destroyed in '73, did the curiosity of the black sorcerers die with them? Or did it simply evolve, moving from crude drugs and shock therapy into the digital realm, into algorithms, and into technologies we are not yet allowed to understand? History is a warning. It reminds us that when power is wrapped in total secrecy, the first thing to perish is conscience. As we look back at the scorched sands of New Mexico and the empty eyes of the MKUltra victims, we must ask, what secrets are being kept today that will haunt the generations of tomorrow? Thank you for watching. If you found this journey into the dark side of history compelling, subscribe and hit the bell icon. We have many more stories to tell, stories the world was meant to forget. This is Real US Stories. Sleep well